Good morning. Everybody is sprinkling in, so let's give about, 3 minutes more or less, and we'll begin.
Good morning, Andreina.
Hi, everyone. I'm just gonna wait just 2 more minutes, and then we'll start today's Zoom. Today should be fun. I have two people joining us. They're gonna be speaking to all of you guys today, so it should be a lot of fun. You guys can ask some questions, and we'll work today's Zoom depending on your needs. Hello, Guillermo.
Good morning, Andrina. How are you?
I can't hear you. Hello?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I could hear you. How are you?
Said good morning, Andrina. How are you?
Good. It's awesome seeing you here.
It's always good.
Is this going to be recorded?
Yes, ma'am. I think it's recording right now. How are you, Denise?
I am doing great.
That's amazing. I know how much you love for me to make you guys wait a few minutes for people.
That's all right.
Guillermo, what are you working on?
Well, a couple things. Trying to see if I can close out this deal with that client that I have. That's been kind of like a roller coaster of a transaction.
I think that that's a good one for you to speak about today.
Oh, definitely will. Definitely will.
I think we can speak about that one, and then we can speak about how the market is doing and about Ralphie and Gigi.
Okay.
Those are, I think those are good examples of our sellers market, right now.
Definitely is. Definitely is. Actually, I have another one too. I mean, it's just. I mean, even though it's like an exciting time, because I think it's an exciting time, it's hard right now. It's hard out there.
It is very hard out there. I mean, it's gonna be an amazing year, 2021. I think that is gonna be great for real estate overall here in Miami. But I think it's a hard time.
Why is it hard? I don't understand. Everybody is trying to buy.
Yeah.
You wanna answer that, Guillermo?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Hi Denise, how are you?
Hi.
Well, the thing is that we have
Let's do this. Let's start for real. It's 10:04 already. So as people sprinkle in, I do wanna let's go ahead and start today's session. That way you do answer this correctly and not just kind of like a pre of you speaking for today, right? So good morning, everyone. Today is day 4 of our wonderful Zooms that we've been doing all week. Every morning we've started together. Now, I have brought in Guillermo Viola to be our first guest speaker today. I have a few sprinkling in this morning, but Guillermo's our first guest speaker. For those of you guys who don't know Guillermo Viola, he is, I guess you're no longer kind of like a new agent anymore, so I can't even introduce you that way. But Guillermo Viola is an agent that I met at the very beginning of 2020, and I coached him the entire year, or mentored him and he was Rookie of the Year for Brokers LLC in 2020, closing out. How many transactions did you close out for sales last year? I think it was like 12, right?
Yeah, 12 because one was a pre-construction, so that doesn't appear, and then the other one actually got pushed to this year. So yeah, it's actually 12.
Yeah, so I think it was like 12 transactions that you did in 1 year, and you
How
know,
many years?
I mean,
How many
the
years
what?
of how many years of experience?
How many years
been
of
a-
experience do you have, Guillermo, already?
I've been a realtor for 3 years and change. But like with it, like how everybody starts in this, nobody goes full throttle from the beginning because you just can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
When did you when did you start as a full-time realtor, and you just said, forget it, I'm gonna give this my all? When was your turning point?
I started in 19, but I was in a brokerage where Andrina and I met, where I was doing stuff, but it just I wasn't getting the support that I needed. I wasn't getting the trainings that I needed. So that year I finished only with 6 transactions, which I don't think it was bad,
It was not a bad year.
considering the source. Um, but last year was when I took off, when I met Andreina, because of all her guidance and and her coaching and her being on the phone with me like every morning. So I would say, if I had to say, really, like last year was my real first year full throttle in real estate.
Now, I will say that, throughout your entire 2020, I mean, we were on the phone every day. You made me kind of like your accountability partner without me holding you accountable. It was one of those like, did you call? Did you prospect? Did you do this? But you actually did the work. So everything that was done was because you went ahead and did it. You ran with it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But I always say, you had a lot to do with my success last year.
I appreciate that. Now you can say, you can answer Denise's question. Why is it hard out there right now? I guess you can start, today with your experience with Ralphie and Gigi, because I think that that is mainly what is showing us that it's really hard out there.
Definitely, definitely. Ralph and Gigi are a couple. They're great. The gentleman has its own company. He makes very good money. They can get into a house for around 700K. But unfortunately, there's just a very shortage of inventory right now. It's just right now it's hard to find houses, and not only is it hard to find houses, when you probably find one, you already have, you're going up against like 20 people. It's complicated right now.
And it doesn't matter the price point.
It does not.
Of what your clients are looking. I mean, I've had stories of agents taking out their clients that are in the 300-400 range, and then Guillermo's in the 700 range, and I have two realtors in the $1 million range, and there's just no inventory.
I have another client that's buying a $317,000 little townhome, and he's going above, got 800 credit score. He makes over 100K a year. He's going down with more than 10%. I mean, it's an ideal client, and I'm battling against another offer. I just got emailed by the listing agent saying that the verbiage on the addendum that I did doesn't, what was his words? Like, it doesn't benefit the seller. Okay. So
It's one of those where you guys have these clients, the buyers are ready to roll, and then you're out there showing them, and then when you're submitting offers, your offers are not even being looked at, and it's back to square one, and then your buyers start becoming frustrated.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's complicated because that's the last thing you want to happen.
Now you have Gigi and Ralphie, and no matter how wonderful they are, and they're extremely patient, they've gone from, what is it, Boca to where?
We had started in they would love to stay where they live, which is Kendall. But then we started seeing Boca, Weston, and now we're in Parkland.
And you guys saw Tamarack too as well, right?
Tamarack too. Yeah.
And then it went from them wanting a $600,000 home, they upped their budget to 700. Then they told you maybe it's better to buy a piece of land and start building ourselves. I mean, and they haven't even looked for very long. It's been just a few weeks with them. But for example, the last time you went to a showing, there was a line to go in.
There was a line of almost 20 cars.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Now you also have the experience, and I mean, you're roller coaster lady with the 8 kids. I want you to speak about that experience.
Yeah, I have a client that well, she's got 8 kids. The last one is like 2 months old. So we went under contract last October 20th. So the husband is applying by himself. He had 2 jobs. Lender obviously told him that he needed both jobs to be able to, to get the approval for the loan. 3 days before Christmas, gentleman decides to quit his second job, and
Well, it was 3 days before Christmas, and then how many days before closing?
about 2 weeks.
He decides to quit his job.
Yeah. So he goes and tells the lender. Obviously, the client does not tell me anything. I'm getting the information from the lender. That because I was on the, I was calling the lender. He wasn't picking up. And finally, he picks up. He's in Colorado with his family on vacation. And he's like, "Look, Guillermo, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm really like not giving it more than what I'm giving it because this, and this." And obviously, I wasn't aware that he had quit his job. So the lender tells me, he told me not to worry, that the person in HR is a very good friend of his, and that they were gonna vouch for him. So closing day comes around about 2 weeks ago, and they, with this whole COVID thing now, you guys, pay attention to this because it's very important. Banks will call to do VOE the day of the closing. They're gonna call your client's employer or whatever it be, and they will verify that they're still employed, that they're still making whatever money they said that they were making the day of the closing. So what happens with this? The lady in HR says that she's not gonna lie, that he hasn't been working there for a month. Obviously, with this house, has been a roller coaster, as Andrina said, because there's been a lien in between. There's been open permits in between, which we had to, there was a lot of hurdles that we got over. And that one was just like the killer. The lender calls me and tells me, "Look, we're done. That's it. The only way that this can, continue is if they get a cosign." Now, this lady with the 8 kids, she's relentless. She
has called the seller.
She wants this house. Yeah, she got a hold of the seller somehow. I don't know. She Googled the seller. She got her phone number. She talked to her. She got a cosigner, and I'm still going at it. This is we're due to close by the end of February. Hopefully, I'll be able to close it.
Hopefully, you'll be able to close it. See, for me, when Guillermo tells me the story and how the husband quit and how, it was a day of closing when everything, kind of like stopped working, I stopped and I told Guillermo, at what point do you grab your clients and say, you know what, this has been wonderful, but I think it's time for me to stop working with you guys, right? Obviously, with this situation, he has continued working with them because they're still under contract with this one house. They were able to get it extended. They got another co-signer, so obviously it's the same property. But if they would have had to stop and start from scratch and start looking at properties again, I would have thought he was crazy for continuing to work with this couple, right? So I wanted him to say that story because there does come a time in your career where you're gonna be looking at your clients and you're gonna have to stop and think like, how much is this worth, you know? And I mean, like Guillermo said, he's been working with them since October. It's now February, and he still hasn't closed, and still no. I mean, do you even have an estimated closing date at this point?
No, yeah. We have a closing date of the 20th of February. Obviously, the lender had told me to put more, but you don't want to scare, the sellers are already, antsy. You don't want to put like, March 8th, because just in case, because, the lender told me this is like redoing the whole file again.
Correct.
It's like another 45 days, but I just didn't want to do it because if I put, more than 30 days, they might not go for it. They'll just put it back on the market, wait 45 days and, get it sold. So I was like, all right, let's put February 20th. And if we need an extension, you extended 20 more days. A week's not going to kill anybody. So hopefully we'll get it done. But what Andreina says is guys, it's key. I mean, we don't have a salary. We don't work by hourly. We don't work by, bi-weekly, whatever you want to call it. We work on a commission. And time is money and everything. So, when I start thinking about it, it's already November, December, January, February. It's 4 months. So whatever the commission is going to be, you have to divide it by that. And then, so at one point you have to say, all right, is it really worth it?
Is it really worth it? See, when I first met Guillermo, I was doing a lot of business plannings with the realtors and putting them, and I would start as well with the mindset, which is what we did on Monday. And I want you guys to remember that even though you guys are business owners and you guys do work for that commission check, at some point, I do want you guys to stop and realize, hey, how much do I value? What is my worth? And your worth shouldn't be, you know, just based on commission. Your worth should be based on, how much is your hour worth? Every time you guys go out and do a showing, every time you get in your car to go do, and if you're going to be a part of the inspections, every time you guys are going to go and meet up with the client, every hour, every minute should have a value, even though you guys are not working hourly. But you guys should know what your worth is and get to a point, which is what I mean, Guillermo and I joke around all the time where I tell him, you're not hungry anymore. You're closing out deals. You're closing at least one every month. But it gets to a point where I tell him, you're going to have those difficult clients where I want you to step back and think, how much do I value and should I move forward with this client? And if at some point it disrupts your emotional state, your physical state, now you're 4 months in and issues are still arising and you still can't close them, how much are you worth? Is this really worth it for you? And I do mean that wholeheartedly for everyone here, where you guys do need to realize, you know what, this client might not be the one for me, and fire them, because it does get to that point. I mean, Guillermo hasn't fired this couple only because they're still under contract with that one house. But that day of closing, that seller could have easily said, you know what, forget this, put it back on the market, and Guillermo would have been stuck with the couple again, starting from point zero, trying to find them a house that fits their 8 children. And the husband could have done another shenanigan and, um, stopped working at that other job that he has. And what happens to Guillermo then? At what point does he say, you know what, stop, this is madness, I'm not working with you guys anymore? You know, I want you guys to learn how to stop and realize when those moments are for you guys as well. Does anyone have questions for Guillermo, or any comments or anything based on his experience, on, you know, how he did it, how he prospected? I mean, Guillermo was on the phone with at least 100 people every single day during the pandemic. And that is literally what built his entire 2020 closings. I get mad at him now because he's not prospecting enough.
Well, I'm on a Zoom call right now. So.
And if you were not on a Zoom call right now, I can put money you would have not been prospecting.
No, I am. But no, guys, yes, she is. It is true. Not that I spoke to 100 people, but I was making about 100 calls a day.
And you were speaking to how many people every day?
I would say a good, like, I got through to at least 30 people on a daily basis. Again, in the pandemic, it was different though. We've had other masterminds where Andrina has had me, and I always commented that I wasn't trying to pitch a sale. You know, I thought it wasn't like the time. I was just handing out information. You know, and I would tell them, hey, if you need anything, you know, we're here. Taking them like to the human side of it, but at some point bring back real estate into it. And I think that's where I had my success. Like, I didn't make any money March, April, May, June, July. I started seeing money in August. That's when I kind of like blew up per se.
I mean, in August, when you came out of the pandemic, in August, you had 2 closings, and
no,
it was like.
August, I had 3. September, I had 2. October, I had 2. November, I would have had 2, but they got pushed to December, and then December, I had 5.
That's beautiful. Denise, I see that your mic is on. Do you have questions? You want?
Yeah, I was going to ask Guillermo, those people that you spoke, Guillermo, they were random people, right? They were not your sphere of influence.
No, yes. These were people, I mean, off of my you know, database, and I had people, you know,
you had your old rental clients in there.
Yeah, but
how often do you call your friends though?
My friends, well, I try to stay in, you know, the sphere, that sphere, you know, circle. I try to touch on them on a daily basis. And remember, I told you that story of what happened with that lady. There's a person that I know that I have a client that she started sending me some properties that she wanted to see. And all of a sudden she sends me this apartment, and I start looking at the pictures, and I'm like, I know that apartment. Like, I know that apartment. So I get on IMAP, and surely enough, it was a friend of mine that was selling her apartment. And, you know, I called her, and she, you know, obviously we laughed about it. It was a joke. But I told Andreina about the story about it, and I told her, you know whose fault that is, right? And, you know, obviously looks at me, points at me, and is like, yours. I'm like, yes. And she's like,
why is it your fault that she didn't use you?
Because I didn't remind her on a daily basis that I'm a realtor.
And I don't mean call her every single day and say that you're a realtor, but you should be touching her several times throughout the year.
Yes. What I do is I usually call all my past sales just to check up on them, see how they're doing, how's everything, how's the house. Believe it or not, guys, that helps.
And your old rental clients too.
Yeah, and even the people that Denise, that database that I'm telling you about, those are even people that didn't rent for me. It was just information that I had accumulated over the years, and I called them again, see if they needed anything, and a couple of them, you know, started talking about buying. You have to touch them. You have to call them. You have to be on them. They will become, at some point they'll buy.
Yeah, what about sellers, Guillermo? I've been working with buyers, and I like buyers, but they are not crystallizing. They're not. I mean, they're not getting any. I'm not getting any luck with them. They just keep dragging and dragging. And do you
Yeah.
have sellers listings for sale mostly, or you?
I have done I have been on this on the listing side of it. Actually, I think now it's a great time to try to get sellers. We don't have inventory.
Yes.
Marina is one of the things that keeps telling me is that I have to do the for sale by owners. You go door knocking. I know there's a pandemic in between, but I think we're more relaxed now. I think we can get back to door knocking. It's something that I'm gonna start doing. Listen, we that is the problem right now. We don't have inventory, and it's a seller's market, and they know it. They know it.
Now, I wanna ask you this. When January first started, you told me how many buyers right now are in your pipeline that want to buy?
I have about solid that I'm already working with 4. I have 2 that I'm trying to get them pre-qualified, and I have 2 there that are like Denise is saying, they're dragging, but I got to stay on top of them.
Now with your pipeline, I mean, when we sat down in January, you had easily in gross volume of sales about $4.5 million in your pipeline to close out hopefully before March 31st. But without inventory, what's going to happen with your pipeline?
I mean, I hope it doesn't, but it is going to shrink.
It's going to go, yeah.
It's hard right now. It's hard. But again, you have to stay on top of them. And like Andrina was saying about this couple, that they're a beautiful couple. They don't have like a time frame that they need to move out because they're renting. They have some leadway. But the last thing that I want is for them to get frustrated, for them to get depressed, because that's when you start losing them. So, before I even send them anything, I try to get as much information from the listing agent as I can. I even had one that we sent an offer the other day. She called me, she's like, listen, my seller really liked your client. She would really love for them to get the house. But unfortunately, we were not there. She told, obviously she can't give me the amount that they offered, but they went way above asking. Those were her words, way above asking.
Here's what I am seeing a lot. People are offering way above asking, 50,000 above asking, 60,000 above asking. But then with the appraisal contingency of only going 5 or 10,000 above appraisal. So it doesn't matter if you offer $100,000 above asking, they're only going to pay 10,000, 5,000 above appraised value. The problem that we're having is that the listing agents are looking at these offers and the sellers are looking at these offers of, oh my God, I'm going to get $40,000, $50,000 more. And then they're going to be super upset when appraisal comes in and they're only going to see $10,000 more above appraisal, because most of the buyers are there cannot pay the $40,000, $50,000 more that they're offering out. But they're being coached and trained well by the buyer's agent of saying, you know what, let's go above and let's do a disgusting price above the asking, but then I'll protect you with the appraisal contingency. But how much more can you pay, And
Yeah.
I think that's the problem that we're seeing.
Yeah, but I will tell you this: a lot of the agents are like, because you can send an offer with 50,000 above, but then if you send the appraisal contingency, it pretty much defeats the offer.
Correct.
There's no point. So most agents are telling you, well, you're sending me an offer with above asking, but you're sending me the appraisal contingency, so it's the same as nothing. So get rid of the appraisal contingency, and then maybe I'll.
Yeah, but what's the worst thing that can happen? Which is what I tell you all the time when you need to control the agents on the other side, right? Where it's like, okay, I can let go of the appraisal contingency, but I'm still coming in with a loan. So at the end of the day, my loan can be denied. And then you're going to have to start from the very, very beginning. And now you're going to have the frustrated seller.
Correct.
you know. Mice, I see that you keep opening up your mic. Do you have questions?
Yes, I was wondering, like the same question that Dennis did it to Guillermo about the cold calls, because I never did in my life. I was realtor in Venezuela and I never had a listing, and I was like wondering how I can get listing. Hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
No. The problem is I am in a showing. I am arriving in a showing.
Good. Good.
And my point is that I would like and I would love to get one listing. People say you have to call sell by owners, but I never did in my life this one, and I don't know how get this kind of client.
Do you want to answer this, Andre, or you want to?
Well, I feel I will be honest with you when it comes to Guillermo, he hasn't gotten to the point where he is out there getting those sellers yet. This has been a discussion that I've been pushing him for the past, I want to say 6 months, of me telling Guillermo that he needs to go out there, and if he wants to control the market, he needs to start working listings. Guillermo has had 2 listings in 2020, and both of them were from, either friends or people that he knew, correct?
Yeah, those were, well, actually, they, they were following me on Facebook, but a lot of people follow a lot of people and they're not really friends. But it was off of my social media, which is another thing that Andreina had told me that I had to do. And at the beginning, I wasn't doing it. And when I started putting
I will say this, and I'm gonna put you out there. So Guillermo is amazing at many things. He sucks at technology. He sucks at technology, at social media. It's not for him. It's he's not gonna work on his social media, and he's never gonna work on his technology. So I told him, if you don't pair up with somebody who's really, really good at what you suck at, then you're gonna have to start paying somebody. So he started paying somebody to start working his social media, and his social media boomed, and you grabbed people from your social media doing this.
Yes. Now, Maisa, I will tell you this though. With the thing with for sale by owners, you got to remember that there's two kind of for sale by owners. The one that had a realtor and went really, really bad, and the one that doesn't want to pay commissions.
Correct.
So what you do with those cold calls is you try to get an appointment. That's all you're gonna try to do. You're not gonna try to sell them. Just try to get at least your foot into the door. Then you have to go with a listing presentation. Obviously, you gotta make them realize that, I know we have like a bad reputation, but when you go with a realtor, the percentage of you selling the house is gonna be way higher than you just putting a little sign on your front lawn and saying for sale by owner. So, I mean, that's what you really have to work out with a for sale by owner. It's either convincing them that we have so many resources that they don't, and you have to show them numbers. And then with the one that doesn't want to pay the commission, there's ways around that one too. I mean, it's what you're gonna say. But I'm sorry to cut you for a second, Andrina.
Why do you not cut me?
The closing that I just did on Monday, and this was my client that I was selling her condo in Coral Gables. She wanted to buy in Gainesville. She saw a house on Zillow, and it was a for sale by owner. I called the for sale by owner, and I got her to pay me at least 2.5. She didn't want to do 3. She tried to lowball me. Obviously, she went.
What are your conversations when somebody tried to lowball your commission?
I'm gonna have to say what you taught me. I pulled out $6.
What do you do with the $6?
I explain how it gets split.
Explain it. Teach them what I taught you. That's what you're here for.
Definitely. No, for sure.
Talk about your $6.
So you grab $6, 6 $1 bills, you put them on the table, and you say, all right, 3 go to the list through the buyer's agent, 3 stays for me. Now, out of those 3, you have to realize that, you know, I work for a broker, so there's a split to the broker, so that, you know, you take away another dollar, then you have $2 left, and you tell them, all right, with this $1, I'm gonna do all the marketing, I'm gonna do all the open houses, you know,
Your taxes, your fees.
right, everything that, you know, that a transaction is involved, and then you're left with $1, and then you hit them with, and this is what I feed my kids with, kind of something like that. And you know, most of the time it works. Believe it or not, it works because they get it. You know, at first they're just, oh no, you know, you guys, because again, I think we do have like kind of a bad reputation out there. Some agents don't do this full time, so it's hard to get a hold of them. I mean, who out there, guys? Tell me. I mean, seriously, how many of us calls a listing agent? I say 9 out of 10 times you'll probably get a no answer, and you text them and they still won't answer you. So it's complicated.
Francisco, I see that you were opening up your mic. Do you have questions? You're on mute now.
Sorry. Good morning, Andreina, and good morning, Guillermo, and everyone.
Francisco.
I think it would be very nice if we can talk about how take advantage of reality, the pros and cons of what is happening today. I don't know if it would be enough content for a webinar, a short webinar about this. COVID-19, Biden, exodus from New York and California or the North, anxiety in people, the feeling of insecurity, how each of that facts have a good consequences and bad consequences for the real estate market. And the main source right now are renters. Why? Because the argument is very simple. They're throwing away money every month. They're paying the landlord's mortgage. That content in the messages we have with people, with renters, is very important. Now, the main reason, the main monster, why? Because people can't get a loan right now, can apply for a mortgage. Rent to own, lease to purchase. They can move, pay a rent, but they know in 5 years from now, they can plan the family, they can plan the future, they can plan buying the house in the second year or third year. Anyway, there's a lot of tools now, and it's very hard to leads right now. New leads is very hard, but we have a lot of people that right now are renters. If we can work with the database of renters, I think with these contents, with these arguments, people need to know how to build wealth. And the first thing to build wealth is buying a house, is owning our own house. So I just wanted to put that over the table. Thank you.
I mean, I love, and Guillermo knows this. I love when agents work with the database of their old past rental clients. I believe that they're gold. Now it's just about finding out what their big monster is of why they haven't purchased in the past. I mean, Guillermo knows this. I told him, call every past rental client you have and convert them.
Most renters that have not yet bought, I mean, the factors are usually the same. They don't have money for for the down payment or closing costs. Sometimes they might think they have bad credit. And then obviously the main reason I think is it's a 30-year commitment, and a lot of people are afraid of that. What if I lose my job? They're gonna take the house away from me. I would tell them, listen, if you're renting, it's the same thing. If you don't pay your rent, you're gonna get evicted. There's really not much difference. And actually, when you buy, before they even take your house, it's a process. It's not like they're gonna come and they're gonna take it away and that's it. It's a longer process, and maybe you could work something out, as opposed to a landlord getting upset and saying that's it. He goes to the courts, he files, and this is another thing. I have a lot of people that think that evictions are not going on. Evictions are going on. It might take a little bit longer because of the courts, but it is being done. So I think that the people that are renting are just not being educated. And I've had this throughout the pandemic. I had a person that I called. No, I'm not going to buy because the market's going to crash. Oh, I was like, all right. So, you work in Wall Street, like you're in the stocks. He's like, no. I forgot what he said that he did. I think it was a trucker or something.
But didn't everybody become an economist during the
No.
pandemic? I think we were all economists waiting we all knew what was going to happen.
Right. And so I go, okay. So he's like, no, a friend of mine told me. And that's the typical answer that you'll get. A friend of mine told me. So I go, oh, okay, so your friend's a banker or something like that. No, he's a mechanic. Seriously. I think that's the main problem with renters, is that they are being misguided by.
I think that's the general issue that we all have as humans, is lack of knowledge.
Definitely.
Right.
Definitely.
And then the minute you give them knowledge, they appreciate you because you're the one who can set them up somewhere. But the biggest issue with human beings is lack of knowledge, period. And speaking of lack of knowledge, I got Paul here, who just joined us this morning.
Yes.
I told you I was going to have a sprinkle of people coming in today. But Paul is one that, speaking of lack of knowledge, Paul is somebody that I've known, and I think that we sit there and we go back and forth with ideas on growth. And I appreciate him so much in having him in my life. Paul is a lender for cross country. So I brought him in. If anybody has any type of questions in regards to lending, any type of, anything you guys want to go ahead and sponge off of him, please do. But Paul is somebody that I met also around the same time that I met Guillermo, and we have grown together tremendously through 2020 alongside each other. He is my 8 o'clock phone call every morning. And all we do is just talk about how we're gonna grow, how can we work together, how can we continue, knowledge. We spit knowledge at each other on an everyday basis. So I do want you to open up your mic and talk to us. How are you? You're muted, hon.
There you go. I'm unmuted.
There you
I'm
go.
unmuted
You look
now.
good. You've lost weight. You look amazing. Look at your face.
Thank you so much. The encouragement is awesome. I always appreciate it. You and I have great talks.
Yes.
So I wish some of these people could hear what we talk about, because it's.
Maybe not. Maybe it's not a good idea.
That is true. It's all about perspective, right?
Don't invite people to our conversations. Guillermo's the first one that's gonna go in there.
Well, I will say this, Paul. What's up, brother? I love you, man. You're looking great. Listen,
I love you too.
Listen, I am a little jealous of that. I was at
I know you are.
At one point.
Dude, you've had her like for 8 months ahead of me. You know what I mean? So I came into the picture a little later. So
Guillermo
I
would
have a
call
lot
me
of
at
catching
8. He would call me at 9. He would call me at 10. Like, can you let go of my phone a little bit?
That's right, man. But it's awesome to be here. To have like-minded people, to chat and to just build each other up. It's so refreshing, because I just talked to a realtor now, and it's funny. It's always like, what are you going to do for me so I could maybe think of you? And it's so, and I told him, I don't, you know, I don't do that, but it's nice to be your friend. And it's so refreshing when it's, you know, how do we make our experience better so that we give the clients a better experience, and we become basically a thing of knowledge for them. It's not about selling anything. It's about just being you and just being transparent and just putting out good things. You know, it's the old adage, you put out good things, you're going to get good things. So with Andreina, it's been amazing. It's been an incredible journey. I'm sure one day we'll talk more about it. We'll write about it. I don't know. We'll journal about it, because it's gonna be epic. And the way it started and to where it is today, wow, it's truly amazing. So again, my name is Paul. I work across country. I've been a mortgage lender, broker, whatever you want to call it, since 1996. I got out in about 08, came back in 12. And, you know, and I'm always learning. I'm always striving to.
I have a question for you on the lending side, right?
Yep.
Right now, with having so many buyers, but very little inventory, right? How are you seeing on the lender side? How are you seeing the issue on your end working with buyers?
It's a great question, and it's funny because I'm part of this platform called MBS Highway, Mortgage Backed Securities Highway. So it all talks, and it's all about the market, real estate, the mortgages, the finance side, and we have a great tool in that MBS where it's overbid. It's actually a program that we show some buyers, hey, if you put in an extra $20,000 into this offer, okay, yes, you're gonna have to come up with that difference, right? Because the house maybe doesn't appraise, which is not always the case. Sometimes it does, but you're going to have to put in $20,000 more. But here, we're going to show you a graph that shows you that it's still a great investment, even if you're overbidding right now for a little bit, because ultimately the way that the market is looking for 2021 is that appreciations levels are going to be probably between 5 and 6%. Historically, they've been between 4 and 5. This year, they're projecting about 6%. So it's still a great investment. And when you're able to put that in paper for somebody to see it, it does create. I just did one this week. It's with somebody, and it's amazing. Once they saw it, that in 3 years they're getting their money back. In 5 years, they have an extra $40,000, as opposed to renting. It's a way to not convince them, but it's a way to show them that, you know, it's not necessarily a bad thing if you have to overbid, because that means that the market is hot. And guess what? It's going to continue. And if you wait another year to buy, guess what? You may be paying even more.
Are you seeing a lot of the contracts of the buyers that you're working with where they are sending in $40,000, $50,000 above asking, and then it's not appraising? What is your experience with this? What are you seeing on your end?
I get a good mix of that, honestly. And yes, there are people putting in, but I mean, ultimately, you know, you got to have that conversation prior, right? If you're putting in over and it doesn't appraise, that means that either you're going to have to come up with a difference or you're going to have to negotiate. I think it's a great, you know, I'm not against that, because at the end of the day, if it motivates a seller to maybe drop a little bit and they know that they have a motivated buyer, then it's a go. I just think it's a conversation that you have to have with your realtor, and then obviously have with the client as well, so that we know we're on the same page.
I think that the problem that I'm seeing is mostly with the realtors who don't know how to control either their client or the other realtor on the other side. Again, I have control issues, so I speak to agents about having a little bit more control and about being able to tighten up loose ends, but speaking again with the knowledge of, all right, let's go above asking, and let's be aggressively above asking. However, how can I protect you in the case that, you know, appraised value comes in way too low, you know?
Right.
Because I'm seeing that the listing agents are also taking advantage of the situation with the sellers, and, you know, looking at the offers, they're not looking maybe at the strongest one financially. They might just be looking at the above asking offers without realizing that this might come down big time through the negotiation process of that appraisal.
Let me ask you a question about that.
Yes.
Let's say I'm a realtor and I put in an offer for a house that I think it's 3, but we put it in for 330, right? isn't there a clause in the contract still that is contingent on appraised value? Now, is that appraised value now based, I guess the appraised value is based on what I offered, correct? Obviously.
Yes, but it is, okay, so the line in the contract is based on financing, right?
Okay.
It is based on if financing is willing to still give you a loan if it's coming below appraised value. And this is
Okay.
based on you guys double checking and making sure that this client does have the money or will be able to pay by
Right.
putting in more, right?
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
let's say that they could put in more, you know, you guys are not going to give them a denial letter because it didn't appraise.
Right.
The client now does have to come in and put above.
Correct. Makes sense. Yeah, it's a little complex. Yeah, because
yeah,
it's a little tricky. I agree. I just think, you know, like you're saying, knowledge is very important. There's a few, you know, there's a few people in our industry that just put anything out there, and they're hoping instead of hope is not a great strategy.
I will say this, and again, when you're starting out in this, since you go to school, but they don't teach you nothing about it, you know,
Right.
like that. It's kind of you learn as you go. I had people tell me that the contract does stipulate that. I've had other people say it doesn't. So I send an appraisal contingency addendum every time, just in case.
I mean, the contract does have the line, but again, when Paul is checking, you know, A, B, and C of all the documents of this client, Paul knows if this client is going to be able to pay X above appraisal or not.
Right.
You know, and if Paul feels, you know what, we're right at that line where if this client pays this, they're not going to be able to afford their loan or whatever it may be. So Paul can at the end say, you know what, you cannot afford this property. Let's go ahead and offer you a denial letter based on the amount that you've offered. And that's where that line comes in. But what if you do have a client that can pay for it? Paul's not going to deny him, so therefore you can afford this property at the price that you've offered, and now the client is screwed because that appraisal contingency will come in, and he's going to have to figure out how to come up with that money.
Correct. That's why communication and just an open line is extremely important.
Communication and knowledge.
Yep, and just and obviously again being transparent with people, so that you're not just trying to make a quick sale, which is the Miami way.
Yeah. Welcome to Miami, right?
Welcome to Miami, exactly. What are you gonna give me?
I've had an agent here touch up on lease to buy options and rent to own options. Have you done any of those?
It's been a long time, and I've actually been called for those. Actually, I know that in that case, usually the seller, they'll ask for a little bit of money up front. I mean, but I see them at the end. Now, how it does work to me, it's been a long time. Honestly, I would have to look into it, because obviously a percentage of your money, in a way, I guess, based on the contract, a percentage of what you're paying rent should be going towards your down payment. So it's not difficult. It's just putting it together. I haven't done one in probably 10 years, for real.
Do you think that is, are we going to be seeing a lot of those with the effects of what COVID has been?
I've seen a few in my neighborhood, which I haven't seen a owner financing in a long time. So I saw one of my neighbors here, they had owner financing, and I was like, what is this? But I'm so sorry. But yeah, I think it's coming. I think if people have equity and they know that people can't go to a bank, but yet, because I talked to somebody today, he goes, hey, I can qualify for this house. I'm like, dude, what you can qualify for and what you can prove sometimes are different. So yeah. I think that some owners may have that mindset. Hey, I know this guy makes his money maybe under the table, Miami way. And now I'm going to give him a mortgage, and if he doesn't pay, I'll take it away. So do I think it's going to be a huge influx of them? No, but I think you're going to see a few. Absolutely. And I think that some realtors, I don't know how legal that works. If a realtor comes into an agreement with one of these homeowners, if they can get paid legally, I have no idea. That's on your department, but I'm guessing if you can get paid legally, then you know.
Well, it still has to be a contract.
Still, there has to be a contract,
There
right?
still has to be a contract, and it should be written by an attorney.
Correct.
It shouldn't be, you know, using the addendums and riders of FAR-BAR. I do believe that the seller should go to an attorney and write out all the terms out. I have a friend of mine who has a friend. I mean, my friend is a celebrity in Colombia, and she has a friend who's a big time attorney in Colombia, and he has
Right.
a firm here. He's not licensed here as an attorney, but he has a firm here,
Right.
and he owns a unit at Bristol in Brickell, and
Okay.
he is selling her the unit for $1.2 million. So she's giving him 500,000 cash, and he's gonna
Okay.
finance her the rest. And she asked me, how do I put that on a contract? And I said, you don't. Get
You
yourself
don't.
an attorney, iron out your
Right.
terms. And she
Correct.
said, no, but we're doing this, you know, the Colombian way, you know, I sold my apartment at the bonds, and then with this money, I finished paying him out. And I'm like, that's cute. You want to move in tomorrow, get yourself
Right.
an attorney, stop doing it the Colombian way, and make sure that you're on that deed and you get title insurance.
Correct.
So, I mean, I have seen circumstances kind of like that with the seller financing.
No, I've, you know, and one of the ones that you see rarely, but you do see it here and there, is you see like, I've seen a gift of equity, you know what I mean? Which is kind of an oddball kind of deal, but they happen. You know, somebody wants to sell a property, and then they're gonna do like a outside private. I mean, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing a few of those. Oh, you don't have the 20%. Here's a gift of equity, and then I'll give you a private note for that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, to be honest.
Yeah, I just saw that one recently. That's like this week. I was like, wow, interesting. Okay. Usually it goes through a private lender for those, but yeah, they're out there. I mean, we're in Miami. We get to see a little bit of everything.
Of everything.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
I love it. It's the best. And the weather today, come on. That's why I'm outside. I mean, come on.
Thanks.
I know.
Inside.
I know. I'm
I
sorry.
do want to ask something, and we get this a lot, and it's funny because most realtors won't know how to read it. Is it legal to ask for a DU?
I love this question. Can listing agents ask the buyer's agent for a DU, and should the lender give it to them?
It's illegal. That's
But
it.
why is it illegal? I mean, we're asking for DUs these days.
You know, it's funny because I didn't know the legality of this, but some other loan officer mentioned it, and I was like, oh wow, is it legal? I think you and I even had to talk about it.
Yes.
And I was like, hey, how did you interpret this?
Did I read this right?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, you know what I did recently? Honestly, I took a screenshot. Somebody was like, oh, I need the DU. I was like, dude, it's illegal. Oh, but the listing.
It's against VESPA regulations. And
yes.
The other day, Guillermo was asked for a DU, and I sent him that link where it says it's against RESPA violations. And I told Guillermo, listen, first of all, most listing agents do not even know how to read a DU, so I don't even know if they're asking for the DU. And two, send him this link and tell him it was illegal. And the listing agent was offended and was like, illegal, but why would you use that word? Well,
yeah, he went, oh wow, what a big word. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's a big word because that's what it is. It's illegal.
Right.
I just sent you a link. I told him, read up on it.
He got scared.
No, but it's actually it's cómico. He just sent me an email saying that he wants the lender's information, and I told him as soon as your client signs off on the offer, then I'll send you the lender's information.
Perfect. I think that's it's we talked about it. It's and that's okay. They can call the lender if you feel comfortable. We will give them not personalized information, but we can certainly give them ranges of things.
Yeah.
And ranges, scores, this, but it's like we can certainly help them make the decision that ultimately will be favorable for the client to move forward without having to provide DU and stuff like that.
But guys, it is illegal. It goes against RESPA violations for the lender to give listing agent, buyer's agent, any agent, that DU, because it has very personal, private information for that client. So it goes against RESPA violation.
Let me ask you a question. The Miami way, are we allowed? I mean, I don't know. I'm asking. This is not a facetious statement, but are we allowed to give it to the buyer, and then the buyer, if the buyer chooses?
It's their own information. So if the buyer chooses to hand it over to his agent or to anybody else, that's up to him.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
they're not, you know, it's up to the buyer what he wants to do with information.
Correct. Okay.
With an appraisal report, correct?
Excuse me?
It's kind of like the same thing with an appraisal report.
Right.
Or with an inspection. Well, it's a little bit different. Inspections and appraisal report only belong to the buyer because they're the ones paying for it.
Right.
The DU is different because it has I mean, I believe that their social security is in there, you know, how much money they have in the bank is in there. I mean, it is very private information that not even his agent should know what's in there. And to be honest with you, how many of you guys actually really know how to read a DU correctly? You know?
I told you I kind of learned because I have people like Paul and
yeah, but I know you, so I'm pretty sure you've scanned through the thing. It's not like you're sitting there and actually analyzing it with a highlighter and, you know, saying like, oh, okay, this DU makes sense. My client can afford this property. You guys don't know how to read this thing.
They just know approve eligible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
you know,
here's what the agent thinks.
Yeah.
Oh, they send me a DU, so, you know, they must be able to afford it.
Yeah, it's the thing about the DU, and I'll give you a 30-second lesson of the DU is you have to read if the person has any kind of collections or charge-offs. Sometimes you will get an approved eligible, but then it will ask for proof of that paid. So let's say that there is a, you know, like in an FHA, a charge-off is not required to be paid off, but per DU. So you have to read that, because I had a lady that had a repo, right? And it was a repo, but it showed up differently on the credit, and we were able to do it. But you have to read it. And then I've had one in the past, to be honest, that I didn't read, and they're like, oh, is this paid off? Oh, no, it's not. Okay. So lessons learned. Just like you read the contract, you got to read the DU. And then income-wise, assets, all that stuff, you know.
But how many agents are really reading the contract?
You can answer that better than me.
I don't want to answer it. Now,
yeah,
I have questions here on the chat for you. And I really do like these questions. What sets you apart from other realtors? Me.
Definitely. Without a shadow of a doubt. I would not answer otherwise.
No, but for real, what does set you apart from other realtors?
I think in my personal case is that I try to go. I mean, it'll probably sound corny, but I will try to go beyond what I have to do. I mean, I do like what I do. I really do like what I do. I think customer service is key in this. And it's like I tell all my friends that are just becoming realtors, because a lot of people are becoming realtors. Don't think so much about the one you got going on. I mean, obviously you have to, pay attention to everything that you're doing, every detail, and give good service. But that's the key. Give good service, because that person has a family member. He's got friends. Referrals will come. Referrals will come, but it's all going to depend on what type of service you give. I think it's in everything. Paul, you could say the same thing. I mean, I'm sure you get referrals from other realtors, just because Paul's great, everybody. I mean, it's not because I work with him, but
I'll cash happy at $20 later, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, I was looking at my phone. Yeah, I think customer service. I mean, you have to give great customer service, and I think this is something that in Florida, I think, we have really bad customer service here, really.
Now, what advice do you have for a starting realtor with a small sphere of influence?
I would say my Achilles heel.
Technology.
Yeah, social media. You have to be on there. I don't like it. I hate it. I hate the way my voice sounds in a
But I
video.
think that if you're gonna do social media, if you're gonna put social media out there, one, you pay somebody to do your social media, but two, I think that for somebody with a small influence, small fear of influence is hashtags, the type of hashtags that they're using in order to attract the people that are coming in. And that is something that I on top of you and on top of your social media lady, because I don't believe that you guys are using the right hashtags. I would use hashtags that have absolutely nothing to do with real estate so that you don't attract other realtors. I would start using hashtags that are more like, you know, young professionals in Miami, attorneys in Aventura, anything that has nothing to do with real estate that will start attracting the type of clients you want to work with. So if we're going to talk about social media, I would say work your hashtags correctly.
And
Good
nothing.
advice.
Get out there. Get out there. Again, I know we're in a pandemic, but I think people have already, you know, lit up a little bit. Start door knocking. You know, prospecting.
Now, his last question says, how much do you push or persuade a cold prospect buyer into a transaction? That's a good question.
It is. I mean, it really depends. I mean, I usually take it to where they either don't pick up the phone anymore or they've never sent a nasty message. But again, I always say I don't try to go for like the sell. Like,
I don't think that you are one of those like aggressive cold callers either.
no.
I feel like you're more of a, I want to have a conversation with you, remind you I'm in real estate, and if you need me, call me. I say that if a prospect is extremely cold, they have absolutely no interest in purchasing anyway, if they're extremely cold. Now, if you do know that they're interested in purchasing or even selling, it's all about the energy levels of how they connect with you. Not everybody connects with everybody. You know, Guillermo's the more like a chill, you know, how are you doing? You know, like that's his flow of how he speaks to his people. He might not work for somebody who might be way too aggressive in his face as a buyer, or he might not be the best one for somebody who's like extremely calm and quiet. You know, I do believe that we connect with people, our energies, the way we speak, the way, you know, the way we flow. So it really does depend on who you connect with, and, you know.
And I will say this, if you're new, you need to have, and this is something, again, you learn as you go. I thought I could work off an Excel. You know, it will help you at the beginning, but you need a CRM. Why do you need a CRM? Because
So funny. That's so funny.
can we hold it till I know it's coming, but let me finish this and then hit me. No, seriously, a CRM is key, guys. It's key. It'll do the follow-up for you. So you can be aggressive without being aggressive. Because if he's extremely cold, this system will just keep reminding them that you're there.
It'll warm them up a little. Now I ask you, how often do you work on your CRM, Guillermo?
I'm getting better. Getting better.
Have you set up your campaigns for following up automated?
I am getting better.
Again, Guillermo sucks at technology, but now this year, Guillermo is building a team. So I told him, if you're gonna build a team, the first person that you need on your team is an admin. And yes, that admin should be licensed, and that admin should do a lot more than just, you know, clerical work, but this admin should be really, really good at technology, which is the part that he sucks at, and take care of the CRM and the following up and the automations, so that while Guillermo is out on the phone prospecting, this person is handling all of the prospecting on technology. You know, pair up with people that are really good at what you suck at. He has two people right now on his team. He has his admin, and he has another what do we call David? Another showing agent or another buyer's agent for now.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Now, I do believe that David is going to seed the numbers, or just because of, the way he is, the way he speaks, I sniff him to, he's going to be an amazing realtor as well. But David does have something above Guillermo, which he does do the technology and the social media.
Yep. No, he's gonna be better than me. I know, and
100%.
I know. You don't have to say that you don't have to put like emphasis in. But again, I've known this guy for many years. I've known him since he was 8. So I know he's gonna be great. But I think CRMs are key. I mean, I do believe in it. I hate technology. Unfortunately, I'm not that old, but I'm very old school. So it's complicated for me. But if you wanna progress in this business, you have to.
I believe that, and I've been repeating a line all week that I'm trying to look up here. A CRM, you will not run a successful business without a CRM. I've been saying this all week, and I will repeat it again. You will not run a successful business without a CRM.
Because Andreina, what are we?
What do you mean?
The first line that you told.
You guys are business owners.
Yep.
You guys are all business owners. Does anybody have any questions or anything to chime in? No? Paul, do you have anything? Oh, Denise, talk to us.
I was just gonna ask you, Guillermo, is his people for social media, are they doing like really good job? Does it look organic? Does it look very like conventional? What does he think about the hiring? I mean, he likes it because he doesn't do anything about it, but
No, but wait, I do put some stuff, like some stuff I will put on my own. Most of it I will send it to her. The good thing about her is obviously she came referred by Andreina, but she's been working with.
Now I'm sharing my screen. Again, I have control issues. For those of you guys who don't know. So I did grab.
Are you also in my? God.
What?
No, never mind. You completely control my life.
I do control your life. I'm glad, we got that out of the way. But now when it comes to Guillermo, Guillermo does ask me for a lot of my opinion, because I'm brutally honest. So when Guillermo first started with Vanessa Moya, there you go. Who is coming in? All right, so when Guillermo first started with Vanessa, and Vanessa's the person who does his social media now, Vanessa does she handles all of my engagement on social media. So I create all my content, she handles all my engagement. This was Guillermo's page before, just, very personal, but he didn't have much that said, I'm a realtor. So when Vanessa came in, first of all, he told her to use this blue and yellow colors, which I don't understand where they came from, but all power to him. And she started creating, flyers with quotes, his open houses, flyers. She started creating, for sales, listings, and all that good stuff. Now she also has access to his CRM, and she does advertise the company listings. So she creates the flyers and the content for him. Now, recently, when Guillermo came in and said to me, she posts all of the market reports and all that good stuff that we give you guys. Now, recently, when Guillermo came in to me and said, I want to start a team, I want to start growing, I said to him, get rid of the blue and the yellow, and get colors that everybody in your team are going to like. It has to be a team, something that everybody's going to be proud of using. So with that said, I had a conversation, we had a meeting with his girl, and we decided to do the black and white, very clean look, so that his team can just come in and start using the same vibe. But I do believe that you've gotten traction out of your social media.
Oh yeah.
How many clients have called you due to social media?
Last year, like 4 or 5 of them.
How many did you close out of the 4 or 5?
3.
3.
2 were listed and the other one bought. And the other 2, I have them there. I mean, I'm still working. Like I told you guys, you have to stay engaged with them, even if you might think that they're dragging you along.
Mm-hmm.
You just never know. You just never know.
Denise, do you have any comment in regards to his social media?
The blue and yellow, I totally agree with you. But sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Don't worry about it.
Good that it changed. It
changed the whole vibe, right? Doesn't it look so much better now?
Yes, very clean.
Denise, were you the one that just sneezed?
Am I what? Sorry?
Did you sneeze?
I did not.
Oh, okay. Somebody sneezed because as she was going through the blue and yellow, somebody sneezed. I was just about to say, oh, it made somebody sneeze. Look at that.
It gives out allergies. Any comments or questions? I mean, I will say Vanessa's really good. I mean, not just because she creates all his content, but he's constantly sending her videos when he's at showings or sending her the closings, and she creates a very pretty flyer for him.
I like Guillermo's logo, like a signature.
See, I told you I liked it.
I like it very much. And you know what I like about it? It's all consistent, all on the right-hand side corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was having trouble with it because my name and my last name really don't help me in this industry. So I was trying to go for something that will catch and not scare anybody off. So
that's head trash.
The one?
Yeah.
That's head trash. That's his head trash.
Yeah.
Doesn't like his voice. I mean, come on, you're great, dude. Come on.
No, I know. But that last name kind of, it's
for those of you who know Spanish, Guillermo's last name is Viola Dulce. Nice. I mean, he has been butchered. So now he needs a team name.
Yeah, like I can't go with I don't know, the Viola Realty team. It just sounds like it's
for half a mile.
So there you go. Does anybody have any questions, any other comments that you guys want to make or ask these individuals, these amazing friends of mine? I think we're good then.
Awesome.
Maisa,
hello.
Yes.
Yes, I missed the half of the conference because I was in a showing. I would like to see the meeting again, and of course I would like to learn with Guillermo too. And he say that you make his business grow, and I am agree with that because for me it's the same. When I was in the other company, I didn't make a lot of money. Now I'm doing like the first month I closed 2. Well, I am closing. I am working on, and I make a rent that is a good money too. And well, I would like to know more about the cold calls. I was in a meeting, and for this reason I can't hear all the meeting. But thank you very much for all your support, because I know that I grow because you, Andreina, you are a very, very good mentor. I am glad to have you like my mentor. I was speaking yesterday with one realtor, and I tell her, I know that I changed because I need to grow. And
Brokers LLC make me grow. Every week you have mastermind meetings, and it's important because you ask, what are you doing? What are you working on? And that's kind of question make you like, oh my God, what am I am working on?
What is
What
it that
I'm
I'm
doing
doing in my life?
different.
Yeah.
Yes, what am I doing different? And I was like, oh my God, the next time she won't ask me the same, what am I working on? I have to do something different. And I know that in my case, I need to be more organized. I am trying to post every day. Sometimes I forget, but I am trying to post every day. And believe or not, all my runs are from social media. And I work with random community that got me a lot of money because, for example, if I run this one, I will get 3,100. That is the same that I sold in 120 is the same amount of the commission. And all my rents are from social media. I would like to learn how to work the cold calls. And for this reason, I will try to listen again this meeting because I would like to know how attack sell by owner. And I know that I have to learn a lot of stuff, but I'm doing step by step. And I will say thank you for all this meeting for this university that I know that it's a lot of content for us. Knowledge, it's huge. For example,
Yeah.
in my last work job, I was selling point of sales, and I visit my client, and he was like, "Hi, Mesa, tell me about the business." And I was sitting with him and telling about the appraisal, some stuff that I learned with you. And I was like, "Thanks God, I came in this time, and no, he didn't make me question the first time that I was in the other company because this kind of question that he made me, I will not know how to answer. If I don't have the answer for one client, I lose this client because for me it's too important to know how. When I make a question, if the person doesn't know how answer, I will say, bye bye, baby, you don't know what are you doing. And for this reason, I thank you for all this information, for all this knowledge that you have and you share with us. Because for me, now I get this client because he makes me a lot of questions and I have all the answer for him. And it's very important to be in this kind of meeting. For this reason, I want to hear this meeting again. I lost the half of the meeting, and I want to say thank you again for all your support.
You're very welcome. Very
think-
welcome.
I think I
I
told-
have Adriana, can I ask a question?
Of course.
Okay, so people that I'm meeting nowadays who want to buy single family properties from Chicago, from New York, $2-3 million, they say, "Oh, we're gonna wait until summer because now the season is very hot. Everybody's buying, so I don't think we can find a good deal now."
Prices
So
are gonna go up for summer.
are gonna go. I mean, yes, summer is always slow, but I don't see I was just gonna ask your opinion. It's not gonna go anywhere down anymore.
No, I think we're going up by people offering above asking and paying above appraisal. That is pushing the prices up, not pushing them down. So if they want a good deal, I tell them go in right now because by summertime or by the end of the year, there's the cheapest you're gonna get it.
Denise, that couple that I have, we went to an open house on Sunday. We went to see a house that was listed for $700,000. At 12:30, I get a notification on my phone from that listing that they changed the price to $750.
I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Because apparently somebody offered already $750, so they changed the price and they
To
bumped it up.
$750.
Was that in Boca, Guillermo?
Sorry?
Was that in Boca?
Yep.
I was in the same place.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So,
Yeah, I got the same email and it was $50,000 up in no time.
yep. Yeah.
Crazy. The line of people outside, yes.
It's just
I
crazy.
will say this.
Now I have another question about that. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I tell my clients, you know, this is just going to continue going up, but then they said this is gonna correct itself, and if you have to sell the house after, how much are you gonna sell the house for? You're gonna lose money because the house is not worth that much. It's worth that much right now because of the situation of the market. What do I tell them?
I'm gonna tell you this, which is what happened with my parents' house. I rushed to my parents to sell their house back in October, November. We closed on it in December, right? So pre-pandemic, my parents' house would have not been worth more than 400,000. In June, a property sold for 427, which was entirely remodeled, and it was bigger than my parents' house. My parents' house was all in original conditions. They had not remodeled anything. So at the very, very, very most, they would have gotten 425. Now, again, I have control issues, so I did a little bit of magic. My parents received 435 for that house.
That was
Okay,
a good real.
we were asking for 450. We got 435 when we closed due to the appraisal contingency. But what did my dad's house do? There was another house that came up for sale at the same time that my dad was closing on his property, and they were asking for 450, and they actually closed at 460. Now the neighbors right across the street asked for 480, and they closed for 480. So it's not that I believe that if I would have grabbed my parents' house and sold it right now in January after the other two were sold, we would have gotten the 450, 460 because the other houses upped the value in that neighborhood. So even though right now it's not worth the 450, let's say that we were to pay 450 for it, the other houses in the neighborhood now go up. An appraiser can come in and compare now that house to whatever the other neighbor is going to ask for, and is going to up the prices in the neighborhood. Does that make sense? So the only way that it is going to, I guess, correct itself is if no other properties sell in that neighborhood and you're the only one that sold really, really high. Obviously, it's not going to be worth it. But if another one or two pop up and sell at a higher price, or more or less at the same price as this one, then it's not going to correct itself. The prices are going to go up. Does that answer the question?
That if it's not the best house in the neighborhood.
I'm not saying if it's not the best house in the neighborhood. If other properties start selling in that neighborhood, the prices are going up instead of down or correcting. If he's the only one that sells, nobody else sells, then, you know, maybe it will correct itself later on. But at this point, what an appraiser sees is the sale of that house at that price point. And that ups the value of it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions or comments? All right, very good. Then with that said, guys, this was amazing. These past 4 days have been amazing. I love the fact that I did questions and answers today, and I brought in Paul and I brought in Guillermo for today's talk. I mean, first of all, thank you so much, not just for being my friends, both of you, but for going along my crazy ideas when I text you and I'm like, hey, you want to speak really quick? You know, you guys just jumped in and helped me out with all of my crazy ideas. So I am very thankful and appreciative of having both of you in my life. And you know, for everybody that has been listening in on me for the past 4 days, thank you so much for chiming in and learning from me. Thanks to you guys is, you know, why I am who I am in this industry.
I just want to make a quick statement. Getting to know you has been incredible. You know, you have changed the way I look at the real estate. you have. I mean, before I met you, I was kind of leaning towards another way. Also, I'm a person that's worked with a lot of realtors. I used to be in-house for big companies, local. Now I'm more of a boutique sniper, where I work with specific people, like-minded people. You have reminded me to be great at what I do, not to be a jack of all trades like there's a lot of people out there that are doing. And I got to tell you, I mean, I've worked with a lot of brokers, a lot of people leading real estate companies, and it's not okay, it is an endorsement, but it's just the truth. And people don't know me except Guillermo and you, but I'm not your Miami guy. I speak the truth and I speak from the heart. And what you offer the people and these things that you do, honestly, are incredible. Our 8 a.m. talks are incredible. So I mean, kudos to you, and you empower people to be better. So I mean, that's what we should all strive for, to just make the world better in our small world. So it's an honor to be here with you, to share this platform, and thank you so much for not only this, but your friendship. It's amazing. It's
Thank
amazing.
I appreciate it. We're gonna go back to our 8 a.m. on Monday.
Yes, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Guillermo, do you have any last words? Anything you want to say? He muted himself, so I don't know if he's on the phone with a client. See, he's either ignoring me or working.
Probably working.
He's probably working. But with that said, guys, I really do appreciate all of you. Thank you. I'm so thankful that you guys come in and listen to me speak. I don't like listening to me speak that much, so I'm thankful somebody does. And with that said,
thank you.
Thank
you very much.
You're welcome. I wish you guys an amazing Thursday.
Thank you. It was really good.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.